What a win to open up this three-game series at Petco Park. Dodgers take it 8-7 in 10 innings. They are now 40-27. Kirby Yates gets his fourth win, 12th save for Tanner Scott. Dustin May goes 5 innings, allowed 6 runs. 5 of them were earned. Freddie Freeman went 3 for 5 with a double and an RBI. Will Smith 1 for 4, 6th home run and 3 runs batted in. Here's what's coming up on the calendar. 2 more games in San Diego. Wednesday's series finale, a 1 p.m. first pitch. Thursday's an off day before the rival Giants will come to the Ravine Friday. And then next Monday, the Padres will be here in L.A. to begin a 4-game series. Sunday's game on ESPN. All the others right here on Sportsnet L.A. America's catcher had the big blast. 2-run shot, his 6th of the year. Plenty more reaction coming up. Dodgers take game 1 in extras in San Diego. To Petco Park because Will Smith is talking with Kirsten and the media.
Will, is this what you've come to expect just from this matchup between you guys?
Yeah, it's always fun games. You know, great environment. You know, a lot of talented baseball players out there competing against each other. So yeah, just a lot of fun.
That has been excellent for them as of late. Just how were you able to get to him early and really kind of set the tone in this one today?
Yeah, we were able to get guys on, you know, keep pressure on him. You know, he had to make some pitches. We were able to execute, drive guys in, and yeah, we just did a good job.
Being able to answer back a couple times early, like how big is that, especially at the start of a series like this where there is going to be heightened emotions and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's huge. You know, they did it to us as well. So going back and forth a little bit early, beating up on the starters, you know, D-May was struggling a little bit, but he was able to get through 5 innings. So yeah, it's just kind of a fun game. It's kind of how it went, and you know, we went on top.
I feel like you just picked right back up from last October. First 3 innings, like the way he was back and forth, it was just...
No, it felt like another game in June.
What were the relievers doing so well to kind of string together zeros there late?
Yeah, they were just executing their pitches, keeping guys off balance, and you know, they did a really good job.
What are you seeing from Dustin today?
Yeah, he was just struggling with execution, you know, falling behind in counts. Didn't really seem like he ever found a feel for anything. You know, that happens, but he was able to keep us in the ball game, go out there, compete, eat up a couple innings, 5 innings, and you know, keep us there.
Padres 8-7 in 10 innings. Tanner Scott with his 12th save of the season. This one against his former team. He's talking about it with Kirsten and the media.
Tanner, just to go back out there and face your former team, you've been a part of this matchup, but on the other side, to be now on the Dodgers side, can you describe what it was like being out there and the intensity of this one?
It was just another game. I mean, I take every game the same way, and I mean, it was my former team, so be it.
Yeah, but to just close this out in the way you did, what was working so well, and feeling that moment of closing out the 10th?
Really good defense. So, I mean, that was huge, and then, I mean, we got a really good lineup and a really good staff, so it's been fun.
What's that battle like with Manny, and what were you trying to do with that last pitch to strike him out?
I was trying to strike him out with it, and luckily it worked out in my favor. I don't have anything else.
Backdoor, that's what...
If that's what you want to think, go ahead.
Like being on both sides, or playing for both these teams recently, like do these games kind of carry an added importance to you, or even just a heightened intensity, like when you're going through the day, or just being out there, you know, the kind of crowds they get, that sort of thing?
I mean, definitely. I mean, it's our rival. I mean, any team that plays a rival, there's always a little added intensity, and yeah, we got out with the win.
Really, the bullpen did their job.
Dodgers get it done in San Diego. Let's head to Petco Park. Dave Roberts is talking with Kirsten and the media.
Dave, just to see how your team battled through this one, the back and forth, and how you all were able to pull this one out tonight. How would you describe it?
Resilience. It wasn't a pretty game, to be quite honest. You know, but we found a way to win. Got some hits when we needed to, made some pitches when we needed to. And, you know, here against this ball club, we'll take it any way we can get it.
What were you seeing from Dustin May? What do you think just kind of kept him off balance throughout this one?
You know, I don't know. I think that, you know, I think it's fair to say that I think emotions were a part of it. I think that trying to manage his emotions internally, you know, this is the first big ball game that he's pitched in quite some time, as far as kind of on the road in this type of environment where you've got to sort of manage emotions. And for me, it was kind of the strike throwing, the command clearly wasn't there. And it was good to see him find his way, and I felt that his last 2 innings were his best innings. And that's the thing I'm really proud of, in the fact that, you could have waved the white flag and, had to really tax our pen, but he found a way to get through 5 innings and put us in a position to win the game tonight, as well as win a series. So for me, that was my message to him on the growth part of it. But it overall, sure wasn't great.
Talk about the atmosphere. Did it feel like you were back in October?
I just think that the fans, certainly, they're always into it. You get 2 good ball clubs. I think the way you saw Mike manage, and with some urgency and kind of the moves, and I wouldn't say playoff game, but it was intense. It was fun out there.
How much of a boost has it been just having Andy be in the stretch that he's been in the last month and a half for you all? So 2 months, really.
Yeah, it's been great. We obviously have our, solidified stars, but also to have a young player now you can kind of expect contribution from, and he's doing it consistently, getting big hits. Moment doesn't get too big, and it just adds that length where, a lot of times they're going to pitch around some of those guys to the top of the order, but you need some guys to get big hits, and Andy's continued to do that, and he's got a good pulse.
All right, John, time for these teams to make up for lost time. 7 matchups over the next 11 days. The Dodgers and the Padres. Dodgers with a 1-game lead in the division, and packed house is expected all 3 days here in San Diego. We welcome you inside. Hope your week's off to a great start. Joe Davis, Or Hershiser, Kirsten Watson joins us in a moment. There are rivalries that have more history, but there is no better rivalry right now in baseball than the Dodgers and the Padres.
Yeah, you can take it up a notch when you play the Padres, especially down here at Petco. Dodger Stadium, great fans, always selling out. But down here, when the Dodgers are in town, it's a sellout.
What's the feeling? What's the word down with the players in the clubhouse?
Like it was back and forth. I'm sure you expected that against these guys. What do you think kind of ultimately swung it in their favor tonight?
What swung in their favor? That's a good question. I mean, it was back and forth. I mean, they punched, we punched. I mean, it's a typical game we play against them, and many more to come. So, what swung in their favor? They executed and got the one more hit in the 10th. That's what eventually got him.
What did you think of Pivetta tonight?
He just battled his tail off. He's competing his butt off, and had that chance to, uncover all of it exactly. They put some good at-bats on him. We put good at-bats on May. They put good at-bats on him. And, biggest difference was, at least for some of it, was his ability to get the extra inning, May. But Pivetta battled and got through to finish the 4th and, hang on there with that lead, 6-5. But, at that point, 93 pitches, his day's over.
Well, it wasn't the cleanest game. I'm wondering just kind of your perspective on a couple of the plays. The fly ball, or I guess the one that, was that just in the gloaming and wasn't?
More of a twilight situation. You're going to get twilights in about every night game. There's going to be a setting, and some nights are different in the setting than others. And, he didn't see it off the bat immediately and communicated it, but nobody could get out there to take it.
Then the bouncer back to Morihone, and then obviously his ability to get out of the inning after that. What did you kind of see from that whole sequence there?
I thought he was super clean, got his guys. And then, the comebacker, he just didn't get his feet set and make an accurate throw. But I appreciated the way he regrouped and got Freddie.
Was there, I think Suarez, 10 pitches in the 9th. Was there any consideration, or was he going to be down after 1 inning?
Yeah, it was consideration. I mean, it was really tempting. The first couple guys are, we prefer to have righties on. Actually, Pages is a little more neutral. Tommy's the guy we want the righty on. Kiki's in there. He's a little more neutral too. But, it's the back end of 3 out of 4 and, 10 pitches. And he's carried the mail for us. And a lot of guys are carrying the mail. We're trying to, we're not trying, we're doing it. We're piecing it together and competing at the same time. But, we're going to need some depth out of some starters.
Have you seen the replay yet on the strike 3 call to Manny?
The ball 4 call?
that, depending on
Yeah,
your
I mean, listen, it was off the plate. Mike does a good job. It's a really good crew. I'm not going to listen. We had a lot of other opportunities to do things in that game, and clearly Manny's locked in, and that's a big at bat. Takes a big at bat. Is seeing the ball really well. It took a pitch that was off the plate, and could have changed the complex of the game. With Jackson coming up hitting the double, who knows if he still does it? But I still like our chances with it. But again, they're human, and it's a good crew, and Mike's a good umpire. So I'm not going to sit here and to AJ's point, there's things we could have done that could have been better. So we take care of our own house.
See on the ball that Rockwood was trying to run down last game.
Looks like he just came in, and it looked like he backspun a little bit and carried on him. And whether he makes the play immediately, it's hard to say because the ball was hit on the line and did backspin and carry. But just carried more than I think he anticipated off the bat.
We certainly saw a lot of tough moments tonight for the Padres. What did you make, even though the outcome wasn't necessarily what we would have wanted to see for them, what did you make out of their ability to come back from those tough moments?
Yeah, this is the same toughness that we've seen out of this team all season long, and especially over the last couple of weeks. It seems like every single ball game is a one-run game, and they've got to come from behind, or they've got to battle 0-0. They've got to figure out a way to win these games, and for the most part, they are. And tonight was no exception in terms of pitching over things that you had to pitch over, like Nick Pivetta, pitching over the pop-up that's lost in the sky that we talked about. But that was a crucial point in the ball game where he's able to pitch over that mistake and get through the fourth inning. Likewise with Adrian Morejon committing the error, and he's able to pitch over that in the eighth inning as well. Mike made a point also, they've got to start getting some innings out of their starters. I mean, Nick Pivetta battled tonight, and I thought he did a great job battling. But at some point, they've got to start getting some deeper innings out of the starting pitching, because for him to have to go to the bullpen night after night after night, we've seen the toll that it can take. And these guys are getting used up a lot here in the early part of the season. This is a team that expects to be playing some postseason baseball. To do that, you're going to have that bullpen fresh. At some point, they got to start getting more innings out of those starters. And, the last pitch that we just saw, I got to give Mike a lot of credit because he's staying calm and he's trying to give credit to this umpiring crew. But again, when you've got a guy set up on the inside corner and a guy throws a slider that's never a strike on the totally opposite side of the plate,